Welcome back to Hashtag That. I'm Alex Kendall.
And I'm Haley Ruscio. From Ahsoka to Loki, we're back with the latest entertainment news updates.
All that and more from Hampton to Hollywood, we're your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
From Hampton to Hollywood,
we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
This past Wednesday, actress Julia Ormond broke to Variety that she was suing Harvey Weinstein for battery alongside Disney, CAA, and Miramax for negligence. The 2010 Emmy Award winner alleges that in December of 1995, Weinstein invited her over to a business dinner but insisted on taking the meetings back to his Miramax-provided apartment, where Weinstein allegedly forced Ormond to perform sexual activities with him at risk of her career. Ormond claims in the lawsuit, quote, her then agents at CAA, Brian Lord and Kevin Huvain, who are now co-chairmen of the powerful Hollywood talent group, suggested that if she reported Weinstein to the authorities, she would not be believed, and he would seriously damage her career, end quote. According to Deadline and CNN, when asked for comment, representatives of both Weinstein and CAA denied these allegations. Doja Cat is back under fire after wearing a controversial t-shirt that featured a neo-Nazi-linked comedian. On Friday, the singer shared several images of her wearing a top featuring controversial comedian Sam Hyde. Hyde co-wrote $1 Million Extreme Presents World Peace, a comedy show that was canceled after one season due to criticism that it promoted racism and sexism. The comedian also reportedly pledged $5,000 for the legal defense of the founder of the Daily Stormer website, a neo-Nazi publication. With Doja being dubbed as an internet troll, this singer is no stranger to controversy, especially since mocking her fans for buying into her Paint the Town Red album, which she claims to be a cash grab. Regardless, Doja has since removed the photos and re-uploaded them cropped and blurred.
Banksy is being sued by Full Color Black Ltd for alleged losses after an Instagram post made by the graffiti artist. The post was in response to a Full Color Black Ltd collaboration with the store Guess, entitled Guess X Brandalized with Graffiti by Banksy. The post, made in November of 2022, stated, quote, alerting all shoplifters. Please go to Guess on Regent Street. They've helped themselves to my artwork without asking. How can it be wrong for you to do the same to their clothes? End quote. Full Color Black Ltd claims that this post caused harm and financial loss for their company. Banksy claims that his artwork should not have been copied for any commercial purposes. It's speculated that Banksy, who has remained anonymous since his artwork began popping up in 1990, will have to appear in person in court, revealing his identity to the public. Keen-eyed internet sleuths have noticed that Robin Gunningham, an artist who has been speculated to be the true identity of Banksy, is named in the lawsuit. Could he be the man behind the moniker? Ahoy mateys! The first 3 episodes of Our Flag Means Death Season 2 dropped on Max this past Thursday. The show follows Stede Bonnet, played by Rhys Darby, an aristocrat who has left his family to pursue a life of piracy, despite his distaste for violence, and Blackbeard, played by Taika Waititi, the most infamous swashbuckler who has become bored with his monotonous life. The show, created by David Jenkins, received rave reviews for its first season, not only for its stellar writing and comedic performances, but for its diverse casting and its portrayal of multiple queer characters and relationships, such as notably between the 2 leading characters. The relationship, called Black Steed online by fans, was sealed with a heartfelt confession and kiss in the second-to-last episode of Season 1, only for the 2 to have a falling out in the final episode. Since then, fans have been anxiously awaiting the second season since March of last year to see them reunite. The rest of Season 2 will release weekly throughout October. With New York Fashion Week wrapping up last month, Samantha Shaw interviewed Victoria Nowak on her experience modeling in New York Fashion Week. What do you have for us, Samantha?
Hey, hashtag. Today I'm joined by model and actress Victoria Novak, who's here to tell us all about her experience in New York Fashion Week and beyond. What's the process like auditioning and then being cast in a showcase?
It depends if you're a freelance model or you're booking through an agent or a mother agency. For me, I usually get booked through an agency. I get sent castings, and sometimes I do it on my own through social media. For this past Fashion Week, I did castings the week of the showcases, which was really exciting because I booked 3 designers.
As a model, what typically goes on behind the scenes?
It can be very chaotic, hectic. However, if you really focus on just the excitement of everything. Everything just goes smoothly. There's times where you're just surrounded by so many people so that you have the chance to network with everyone. There's usually sometimes beginners at the same place with you, and then very higher end models who've been in this industry for such a long time. So when you coincide, it really helps everyone and each other just understand, where they started from and how far they're going. And it's really exciting to see, people start out and then keep going, because they're building up their passion.
What qualities does it take to be a New York Fashion Week model?
It takes a lot of qualities and personal traits to get into this industry, especially when you are working with so many people at once. You're meeting new people, you want to always be professional, but most importantly, be very confident in yourself. A lot of models who are beginners start out in the industry and they don't know if they're good enough, but you have to always start from somewhere and just keep building up.
Do you have any favorite pieces?
I actually had the chance to walk for a wedding dress designer. It was quite amazing because I had my fitting the day of the show. So I wasn't really aware that I would be walking for wedding designer. So everything is kind of a surprise sometimes. And it's quite exciting because you put the dress on and the designer makes sure that it fits you perfectly. And then you're just going to walk on the runway in front of everyone. But that would be one of my most exciting designs that I've ever worn throughout my whole modeling career.
So why the fashion industry? What makes it so special?
At a very young age, I knew I wanted to be part of the modeling industry, and that just created a drive for me. Even with school, I feel like I go through modeling and it's just so exciting. It keeps me going. I overall feel sometimes like a role model to other people, especially for younger kids. I do teach runway classes, so they always ask me, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then the older models have always asked me, like, what keeps you going? And honestly, just showing people that everyone has a certain confidence, something unique about them. And if you really want to show it to the world, it really inspires other people. And that just makes me feel really great, because when you inspire someone, it makes you feel warm. And you just want to do that for everyone, because sometimes somebody needs a little bit of a push and they can see what they're able to do. And that's really amazing to see.
Thanks, Victoria. Be sure to stick around because #that will be right back after this commercial break.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text to emoji ratio.
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
If you're not paying for it, you're the product being sold. Well, it's looking like now more than ever with with TikTok and Meta now testing out ad-free subscriptions on their platforms. We polled you to see if you would pay for this option. Let's take a look.
So let's see what these results are. All right, so it's yes at 9.5% and no at 90.5%. What do you think about that, Alex?
Honestly, I can't say that I'm surprised at these results, with Meta planning to charge $17 a month for an ad-free version of Instagram and Facebook for Europeans. I'm thinking that they're testing the waters for American users with this program. And I did a little bit of research into this, and according to Mixcloud, as of 2023, Instagram has 2.35 million users who use the app like 29 minutes a day. So that works out to $17 for every 13 hours used a month. And that still seems crazy to me. I can't imagine wanting to do that.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and those results don't surprise me either. Actually, if they surprise me at all, it's because it's not 100% versus 0%. I just really don't see the reason for things like Instagram, Facebook, things like that, where you can really just scroll past the ad. I don't really see a reason for needing to pay for something like that. Me personally, I do pay for YouTube Red and Spotify Premium because I think that having no ads on those platforms is something that's really worth it. Because I watch a lot of YouTube and I listen to a lot of music. But on things like Instagram and Facebook where, like I said, you can just scroll past the ad, I really don't think that it measures up, especially at how high of a cost it is.
Exactly. I saw that YouTube Red costs $11.99 a month and Spotify costs $10.99 a month, which is a huge leap compared to $17 a month for someone who can just scroll past the ads, like you said. So it doesn't seem realistic for users to do. And if they bring this policy to America with a subscription, I don't think I see a lot of people using it.
Exactly. And take something like Hulu, for example, that has this ad option and this ad-free option, right? So the ad option is $7.99. So you're getting all of the Hulu content. You do just have to watch those ads. Without ads, it's $14.99. So that's only $7. So for something like that, where you're getting this premium content from Hulu, to remove these ads for only $7 as opposed to this $17 that Meta is trying to have, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I completely agree with the results of the poll. All right, Late Night is back, and here to fill us in on what we missed is Marcus Ferreira. What do you have for us, Marcus?
Thanks, guys. Starting off, Jimmy Kimmel, host of Jimmy Kimmel Live, recently brought former Donald Trump aide Cassidy Hutchinson onto the show to discuss her experience working closely with Trump. They also talked about her recently released book, Enough, a political memoir which goes into great detail about her experiences. Kimmel took great interest in political matters, such as how the White House and the Trump administration conducted themselves in the lead-up to the January 6th Capitol insurrection, but he took even greater interest to some of Trump's habits behind closed doors. One example is when he asked Hutchinson how often Trump would throw ketchup at the wall, to which she explained how Trump was genuinely fearful of his food being poisoned. For ketchup specifically, he would quell his fears by only taking ketchup from small bottles that he had others open directly in front of him. This is so he could know that they weren't tampered with. Kimmel encouraged Hutchinson to stay for as long as she needed to talk about her stories, but it's clear that he found the most joy from the ketchup story. Comedy Central's late-night talk show, The Daily Show, has been desperately searching for a new host ever since Trevor Noah announced his departure from the show last year. Unfortunately, the show's troubles are only growing worse leading up to its return on October 16th, as comedian and longtime correspondent Roy Wood Jr. has exited the show's production. His reason for departing is that he doesn't wish to work on the show as a correspondent while they're looking for a host, especially since they never offered him the host position. When asked about this, he said, quote, "I can't come up with plan B is while still working with plan A. The job of correspondent, it's not really one where you can juggle multiple things. And I think 8 years is a good run," end quote. The Daily Show has prior experience with correspondents considering outside jobs during periods of undecided hosts, but this situation is unique due to it occurring in the lead-up to the show's return following the writer's strike. The show will be hosted by guest hosts for the remainder of the year. Lastly, Momo, a monkey who escaped from his home to roam the streets of Indianapolis, was featured in a recent segment of The Late Night Show with Stephen Colbert. Although Momo was already found by the Indianapolis Animal Care Services the morning before the episode aired, it didn't stop Colbert from making a good number of jokes about the situation. The segment was introduced as Monkey on the Lamb, visualized with an image of a diaper-wearing monkey holding a firearm while riding a lamb. The segment ended with Colbert pretending to call the Indianapolis Zoo on his banana phone, saying, quote, "Is this the monkey zoo? What's that? I'm being informed that Momo's been caught and I knew that before the show, but I didn't care because I wanted to do the jokes anyway?" End quote. Momo is being kept at the zoo until authorities determine if it is safe for him to return to his owner. That's it for this week's Late Night Highlights. Back to you guys at the desk.
Haley, I think I'm in the mood for a little bit of tricks and some mischief, but luckily I think Loki is back in town. Aaron Russell and Michael Rada are here to break down the latest in Loki Season 2. What chaos awaits us this time, guys?
Welcome back to Marvel Mondays. I'm Aaron Russell.
And I'm Michael Rada. This week we'll be talking about Season 2 of Loki, which premiered this past Thursday.
Let's take a look at Season 1 before we jump into the second one. It's been 2 years since the God of Mischief took over our screens, and I, for one, have very much missed him. Fans were introduced to the Time Variance Authority and characters like Sylvie and Mobius. Now, a spoiler alert for fans who haven't seen season 1. Here comes some spoilers. Episode 6, the season finale, packed a punch with the murder of the only good Kang the Conqueror, He Who Remains, and a messed up sacred timeline.
Audiences seem to love season 1 of Loki, with an IMDb rating of 8.2 and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 87%. Reviews of Loki season 1 ranged from, "Loki was even better than I thought. It would be and is easily the best Marvel series to date," to quote, "a watered-down series that would have been better as a movie."
And a question hanging in the air is the status of Jonathan Majors and his involvement in the MCU. Majors' legal proceedings that we've talked about before on #that, may lose him the role. The Avengers movies in Phase 6 include Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty. Audiences will have to wait to see if Marvel replaces Majors or makes the choice to keep him. Now, I loved this first episode. I was so excited to see Loki back on my screen. The score was amazing. I love how they kept the original score that plays in the title card. I feel like it combines like the mischievous part and the time aspect. And I love the continuity of it, how it started right where season 1 ended, because it ended up such a big cliffhanger for me personally. And we really just jumped back into it.
This episode, I did absolutely love. Everything that I did really love about season 1 was right back here. The chemistry between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You got the score that's back, the production design that's amazing. It has a really clear style to it, unlike a lot of Marvel things now, with just that has kind of the same template and kind of mediocre. But I just love this episode, especially Ki-hee Kwan, that's back. I love my dude. I love him, Oscar award-winning actor. As OB, I loved that scene of him where he was having a conversation in present day and in the past. It was just a brilliant scene and just a brilliant episode.
We are so excited to see where this season goes, the impacts it will have on the MCU. In other Marvel news, The Marvels, featuring Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and Monica Rambeau, comes out in theaters November 10th.
That's all we have for this week's Marvel Monday. Time is slipping away from us, so we'll be right back after this commercial break.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Drew, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
We're back with this week's New York Minute, and here to fill us in all on the latest East Coast entertainment news is Lane Dubin.
Thanks, guys. We are heading into the Big Apple with our first story. British actor Sophie Turner and American pop star Joe Jonas arrived separately last week with their legal teams in Manhattan to begin an intense custody mediation expected to take 4 days. Jonas is seeking 50-50 custody of a trial date has been set for January 2nd. This complex divorce involves cases in Miami and in the UK, in addition to the New York hearings. Jonas filed for divorce in Miami, citing concerns about Turner's partying habits, while Turner is suing Jonas in New York under international child abduction laws. Both sides have agreed to keep the children in New York until the matter is resolved. Turner is currently residing in Taylor Swift's Tribeca apartment. Despite the complexity of this case, both sides are determined to resolve their differences, and the judge has expressed optimism about the mediation process. Do you guys see this divorce ending amicably and before the new year rolls around?
See, Alex, I would like to think that that is going to be the case, but I think that this situation has garnered so much press for both of them, and bad press is still press. So no matter whose side you're on in this, both of them have gained a lot of notoriety from this situation. So I honestly feel like, as much as I might want to care about the kids and might want to care about their situation ending amicably, I feel like it might be in their best interest, like as celebrities, to drag this out as long as possible. But what do you think?
I totally agree, especially in considering when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard went to trial, it felt like that was all what I would see on the news, and they got a ton of publicity out of that as well. So when you think about how all publicity is good publicity, you really think about that kind of thing. And while I don't think it's going to be as severe as that, I still think that it's still really intense whenever we see trials like this on TV. But what do you think, Lane?
I think that I want this trial to be as cut short as it can be. I love the good and bad publicity between the two of them. Anything is good publicity. But I think that for the sake of the kids and for the sake of Sophie Turner being in the UK right now, and everything like that has to do with international stuff, I just think that getting this over nice and quick would be great. Moving on to our next story, on Tuesday, Spotify's Manhattan headquarters held a star-studded Future of Audiobooks event featuring a panel discussion with successful authors Jeanette McCurdy, Min-Jin Lee, and Yomi Adegoke, of all whom said they were looking forward to having their work on Spotify platforms, as well as musical guests Joy Oladokun and Alicia Keys. At this event, officially, they launched their new audiobook services in the UK and Australia, and said that a US launch would be coming by winter. Under the new program, Spotify Premium, paid subscribers will now have access to 15 hours a month to more than 150,000 audiobooks, including titles from the major publishers. Now, the average time to finish an audiobook is 8 to 9 hours. Do you think that this is a good offer for Spotify to give their customers? And do you see yourselves possibly using this feature when it rolls out in the US?
I definitely think that this is a really cool feature, and it definitely broadens the horizon for audiobook users. However, in 2022, it was surveyed that only 45% of Americans listen to audiobooks, and I am not in that percentage. I don't really listen to audiobooks, so for me, I don't think I'm really going to use this feature, and especially because I don't even have Spotify Premium, so I can't really take advantage of these types of promotions and these special kinds of services. But what do you think on this?
See, I totally disagree. I think the percentage is so low because these audiobooks haven't been on a source that's been accessible by a lot of people. Personally, I listen to a lot of podcasts because that's what's accessible on Spotify and YouTube. But now that I can get these audiobooks on Spotify too, I'm definitely going to be listening to a ton of them. And personally, I'm super excited about it. But what do you think, Lane?
I am personally not in that demographic of people that are using Spotify for audiobooks, but I do know that there is a huge audience, especially on Book Talk, that are willing to use that service and will use it to the end of time. Moving into our last story, the world premiere of Jaja's African Hair Braiding opened on Broadway last week. The play, which marks the main stem debut of writer Jocelyn Bio, is the first production of Manhattan Theater's Club's 2023-2024 Broadway season. It centers around a group of West African immigrant hair braiders and their customers in a Harlem salon. These women exist, said actor Zenzi Williams. They are giving, loving women who are a part of this culture. If you see a Black woman with their hair braided, that woman who did their hair braids, what she did, it's ancestry. It's a part of our lineage. With that quote in mind, do you guys think that theater can effectively bridge gaps in understandings between different cultural backgrounds with plays like Jaja's African Hair Braiding?
I absolutely think so. I am a big theater fan. I have seen a lot of Broadway shows, and I mean, personally, I've seen like Kimberly Akimbo, which talks about genetic diseases, Some Like It Hot, which talks about the trans community, Curious Incident, The Dog in the Nighttime, talks about neurodivergency, and of course, we have Hamilton, which, you know, is a really great representation for people of color. And so, I mean, those are just some examples of what I've seen. This isn't even the examples of everything across all of Broadway, and then even smaller theater communities as well. So I think that this is such a great opportunity, and I hope that I get to see it. What do you think?
I absolutely agree, because it is in art that you are able to present all these important aspects. We see it within our own theater program here at Quinnipiac, that we use art to talk about the important topics. But Lane, what is your take?
I 100% agree with you. I feel like diversity, and no matter what form it's in, is always good. That's all the time that we have left for a New York Minute. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihavepreddiabetes.org.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Michael Katz-Flynn is back with the inside scoop of Disney Plus's Ahsoka Season 1. Take it away, Michael.
Hey, hashtag, it's Michael. Today we are going to be breaking down Ahsoka. This series has been highly anticipated ever since its announcement, and Dave Filoni fully delivered. Star Wars' Disney Plus praise has been all over the place, with some products getting a lot of high praise along with its fair share of mixed reception, but it seems like no show has gotten anywhere near as much praise as Ahsoka has. From the very first few seconds, the show hooks you in by bringing back the infamous from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away title sequence that until now has been used outside the Skywalker saga. Ahsoka also brings back most of the main characters from Rebels and is able to incorporate them as major parts of the story without taking too much focus away from Ahsoka herself. Fans have also been raving about Ray Stevenson's portrayal as Balon Skull, with his complexity on whether he's on the light or dark side of the Force, and it's a shame he couldn't live to see his praise. We also finally get answers to what happened to Ezra and Thrawn, the series finale of Rebels, who were both handled beautifully. Hayden Christensen makes another comeback as Anakin Skywalker, which is one of the biggest highlights of the show, bringing the relationship between him and his Padawan full circle. While we saw things turn for the worse in Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine did make do on his promise, giving Anakin the power to save those he loves, as he's able to bring Ahsoka back from the world between worlds. Each episode was seemingly able to one-up the previous, though things fell a little flat in the finale. The whole show builds up to an epic showdown between Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra, and Thrawn, but without spoiling too much, it felt a little anticlimactic and left the door a little too wide open. The episode had a lot of good character moments, but they focused too much on setting up the future rather than completing the story we've been following for 8 weeks. Despite things not fully wrapping up, it was still a good finale, and as a whole, Dave Filoni brought his A-game in writing this series. Here's hoping we get a season 2. That's all. Back to you guys at the desk.
This week, Alex and I will be playing Emoji Detective Pixar Edition. Let's get started. Let's see how many we can get
rapid
through.
Fire, let's go. All right,
let's
see.
do the first one.
Ooh, Cars.
Okay, yeah,
Cars.
that's gotta
No,
be
that has
Cars.
to be Cars.
The star
Let's
of
go.
Loki.
Oh my
Great
God,
show.
that's so good. Bugs Life.
Bugs Life. There you go. There you go. Not ants. Not ants.
Oh yeah,
It's Pixar,
very confused with
so
it.
it's Bugs
Very
Life.
confused with it.
All
Okay.
right, next one.
Toy Story.
That's got to be Toy Story.
Yeah, I mean we have an astronaut. Come on. Yeah, there we go. That's my
adore
astronaut.
Toy
Favorite
Story.
astronaut. Okay. What else? Ooh,
Oh, I know this one.
I
This one will always make me cry. It's Coco.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. All right.
Yes, Coco. I absolutely adore it. The song at the end, I will never stop crying.
That's
every
fair.
single time.
Nemo. Finding Nemo.
Finding
Let's
Nemo.
go. Finding Nemo.
One of my personal favorites.
Classic. I love
Absolute
it. The movie.
classic.
Great.
All right.
All right.
more?
One more. Oh, the emoji one. Oh no, not the emoji
It's
one.
Inside Out. There you go.
All right. That's all we have this week on hashtag that.
Make sure to follow us on our social media accounts to stay up to date.
I'm Alex Kendall.
And I'm Haley Ruscio. From the producers, talent, and everyone working hard behind the scenes, thank you for watching #that, and we'll see you again next week.